Hello and welcome to my channel Happy Learning to You, your ultimate guide to easy learning. Let's continue with the topic on plant kingdom. In today's video, I will explain about angiosperms, the fifth category of plant kingdom, and part 1, which is about the characteristics and reproduction in angiosperms. Now, let's come to characteristics of angiosperms. These are the plants which have the ability to flower and produce fruits. The pollen grains and ovules develop inside the flower here. This is the distinguishing characteristic which differentiates angiosperms from the gymnosperms. If you remember, in gymnosperms, the ovules are exposed. They are non-flowering plants. The seeds are enclosed by fruits. They occur in a wide range of habitats where they grow as trees, shrubs, bushes, or herbs. Fertilization occurs by pollination, which may be directed through wind, insect, or other means. Reproduction, the male sex organ here is the stamen and the female sex organ is the pistil. Now coming to its size, they vary from tiny microscopic, example Wolffia, to tall trees, example is eucalyptus. And coming to its uses, they provide us food, fodder, fuel, and also used for medicinal purposes. So these are the characteristics. Now, these are divided into two categories. The monocotyledons means they have only one cotyledon, which is an embryonic leaf in their seeds. They have parallel venation in the leaves. Trimerous flowers having 3 members in each floral whorls. Trimerous, which means 3 members. And the second category is dicotyledons, which have 2 cotyledons. Cotyledons meaning embryonic leaf in their seeds. As compared to monocotyledons, which have parallel venation in their leaves, dicotyledons have reticulate venations in their leaves. And here the monocotyledons have trimerous flowers, dicotyledons have tetramerous or pentamerous flowers. That is, tetra meaning 4 and penta meaning 5. So 4 or 5 members in each floral whorl. As I've told you, the male sex organ here is the stamen, and each stamen consists of a slender filament which is having an anther at the tip. Here the pollen mother cell undergoes meiosis inside the anther, producing microspores, which ultimately mature into pollen grains. Next, the female sex organ is the pistil, which consists of an ovary at its base, a slender style, and stigma. So the pistil consists of ovary, style, and the stigma. Ovary in turn contains the ovules, and ovules contain the megaspore mother cell, which undergoes meiosis and forming 4 haploid megaspores, of which 3 degenerate and one, the larger one, will divide to form an embryo sac. Now this embryo sac has 3-celled egg apparatus. This includes 1 egg cell and 2 synergids, 3 antipodal cells, and 2 polar nuclei. So this is the egg apparatus, which it consists of these 3 parts. Now these 2 polar nuclei will ultimately fuse to produce a diploid secondary nucleus. So now let's go to the process of how the reproduction takes place. Now, you know that the stamen is the male sex organ, and the anthers, the stamens contain anther. Now what happens is that these anthers disperse pollen grain, which are carried by wind or any other means, to the stigma of the pistil, which is the female sex organ. And as you know, pistil consists of the ovary, stigma and the style. Now, this process is known as pollination, wherein a process which involves transfer of pollen grains from the anther of stamens to the stigma of a pistil. Now, once the pollen grain reach the stigma of pistil, these pollen grains germinate there on the stigma itself, resulting in the formation of a pollen tube which grows through the tissues of the stigma and the style. And this pollen tube ultimately reaches the ovule and enters the embryo sac. Now it is here that the pollen tube discharges two male gametes. Remember, two, of which one fuses with the egg cell which is present there, resulting in the formation of a zygote. This process is known as syngamy, which ultimately develops into an embryo. Now, and the other male gamete fuses with the diploid secondary nucleus. Now, if you remember, just now I have told you this is formed by the fusion of the two polar nuclei, resulting in the formation of a triploid primary endosperm nucleus. Triploid primary endosperm nucleus, the short form is PEN. This develops into an endosperm. So the zygote develops into an embryo and the pen develops into an endosperm, which provides nourishment to this developing embryo. Now this process is known as double fertilization, wherein there is involvement of two fusions, syngamy and triple fusion. Now what happens is that, as you know, the embryo sac had three parts: the synergids and the egg cell, antipodal cells and the polar nuclei. You know that the polar nuclei have already fused to form the diploid secondary nucleus. What remains are the synergids and the antipodals, part of the egg apparatus. They degenerate after the fertilization has occurred. The ovules develop into seeds and ovaries develop into fruit. So this is all I had under the characteristics and reproduction of angiosperms. In my next video, I will explain about the entire life cycle of angiosperms. Do press like if you could learn about angiosperms in an easy way. Post in your comments and do subscribe. Thanks for watching.